So next on our list, we have Lisa Merchant with South Dakota Parent Connection, and we're going to invite her to tell us a little bit more about their agency. Lisa?
Hi there. Well, I'm here. I did not know I was sharing today. I thought Carla was, but that's okay. I can do that. I'm Lisa Merchant with South Dakota Parent Connection, and I am in the Rapid City office, and Parent Connection home office is in Sioux Falls. We have 6 or 7 people working there, and Betsy, please jump in if you want to. We are a parent resource center. And we, if parents come to us, we have a wide array of resources for children with disabilities 0 through 26. And resources can include training, parent training, staff training, booklets, pamphlets, information, anything they might need. The best way I can explain Parent Connection is through some of my experiences. I'm a retired elementary teacher, and I started about a little over a year ago, at Parent Connection. When I first started last year, I had parents come in looking for daycare. They have children with disabilities and they're having a hard time finding daycare. I have parents coming in whose children are reaching transition age and they might need resources and what to do. I have parents coming in that have a health or medical problem and need to find resources. We are not legal advice, we are not case management, but we will work with parents in trying to get them the help that they need. We are also starting a lot of online training recently with the Department of Education, and we have a wide array on our website of all kinds of training, from behavioral to ADHD to autism to almost anything that you would need information on. We also have training, or I've also had parents come in that maybe just had a diagnosis of autism for their preschooler, or just had a diagnosis of Down syndrome and just have no idea where to look. Also, parents come in that have their very first IEP meeting. And we have an excellent, excellent resource called What Parents Should Know, very parent friendly. We also have one called Dare to Dialogue for parents on how to work with their school system. So Parent Connection truly just tries to empower parents with knowledge and tries to find them the right resources. We'll work with daycares. We also have what's called a navigator program. And that's if, let's say somebody calls and they're just not sure about their IEP or their 504, working with their school district. And we may bring in a navigator who works with both the school district and the parent. And they both sign off on that. And they sign off to work together. And so that's our navigator program that we can refer you to too. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, or I know Betsy's on, if she wants to add anything too, that would be great.
Thank you, Lisa. And I didn't, I'm just scrolling through here and I see Carla is on. So Carla, if you would like to join us, or Betsy, feel free to do that.
Well, I'll just greet you all and say good morning on behalf of South Dakota Parent Connection. It's been a busy weekend with multiple things going on, so I haven't been able to join as much as I'd like. But Lisa did an excellent job summarizing our supports and services, and in particular now with this whole COVID situation and with schools announcing reentry plans, we're hearing more and more from families about their concerns around that. And so, you know, we will be utilizing this time now between now and school starting to really help parents work with their schools to really determine what school might look like for their child based on their child's individual unique needs. And so that will be one of our priorities as we go forward with this. So I'm sure everybody's kind of in the same boat, waiting to see what this is all going to look like moving forward as we try to get back into programs and support. So if you have any questions or concerns or ideas that you know, you would like us to pass along to parents about supports and services, make sure you let us know, because we do have quite an extensive listserv that we get information out to parents. And so we are a resource for organizations and professional groups to contact parents and make sure that they're receiving information about what's going on. So thank you very much for letting me join a little bit this morning.
You bet. Thank you, Carla. And I would just say that, you know, as educators, don't be afraid to call South Dakota Parent Connection yourself. I think sometimes we think of, okay, Parent Connection is only for parents, but certainly for educators, they can provide a lot of wonderful information too. And we are all about helping each other. We don't want to be seen as, okay, oh, they're going to side with the parents all the time, or they work with parents only. I know for a fact, I've seen it in action, that you work just as closely with schools, and you know, if we can all work together, it just makes things go a whole lot smoother. And so we really appreciate the Navigator program to help with that as well. And I'm seeing a lot of nice information in the chats, about very nice comments about your Navigator program. So that's
Great.
great.
Well, thank you. Yes, I would echo what Bev said. You know, we consider it a win or a strong point when professional groups reach out to us to say, you know, for example, when schools reach out and say, you know, we're doing everything we can, and for whatever reason, we're just not connecting with this parent. Can you help us? We are just so proud of schools when they do that, because I agree that we're all in this together, and our goal is to strengthen family engagement and shared decision making at whatever level kids are at with their programs at school or in the communities. And so yeah, I agree with your statements there. Thank you.
So a couple things that have come up in the chat, Carla. Does Parent Connection help parents talk through guardianship? It says.
Yes, we actually get quite a few calls from parents on guardianship, and so we will explain to them the process, and we will direct them to resources to help them understand better how, you know, when guardianship should be addressed, what that should look like, who they can reach out to for support.
Okay, great. And then one last question. Do you still have those, it says organization folders? I'm assuming you're talking about the file system.
Yes.
And do you still have them? And then how can we get those to parents?
Yes, so we have two. We have the file, which is for parents to organize information. And then we have the My File, which is actually for older students to begin to learn how to take responsibility and learn about the information that is important for them to keep track of, and begin to interact with professionals or doctors around appointments. And so both of those are available through our office. If you contact us through our email or call, all we need is there's a form on our website that parents can fill out, and we will gladly mail those out to parents. So if you're working with parents and you think they would benefit from having one of those, put them in contact with us, and we will gladly mail those out to parents. They are free to parents. We will come out to schools and other groups and do training for young adults on how to use the My File. One of the things that we find with the My File is that we don't want, you know, teenagers to get a hold of those and find out later they were on the back seat of the floor of the car, because there are places to keep personal information in there. You know, you need to know where your social security number is. You need to know who your doctors are. You need to know when your doctor asks you about what prescriptions you're taking. So we do want to do training for youth around those, so that they understand the importance of keeping that information confidential. And so, but those trainings to families and youth are free. And we bring those My Files out as part of that, but otherwise parents can just request them through us and we'll mail them out. So
awesome. It's a great tool for students. Yeah. I think of high school students, it would be great for them to have to take with them when they go out, venture out on their own. Yeah. A couple more quick questions, and then we've got to buzz on to our next presenter. But and this is a good question. Can school personnel contact you to get a navigator, or does it have to be initiated by a parent?
Schools have contacted us requesting a navigator, and what we've asked them to do is to sign a release of information so we can reach out to the parent. Technically, the request has to come from the parent, but we do have schools who would say, if we can put you in contact with the parent, would you assign a navigator? But so we'll work with the parent if they get us that release of information, or they direct the parent to us. But so yeah, schools shouldn't hesitate to contact us.
Okay, and the last one I see is can parents support BIE or tribal schools at IEP meetings or during IEP meetings?
Yes, so we cannot use Navigator funding to provide supports to parents in BIE schools, but we can use funding through our Parent Training and Information Grant, which is a national grant through the Office of Special Education, to provide the same level of support to families who are part of BIE schools. So that support is there. It's just our own in-house which program we use and which funding we use to access those supports.
Okay, wow, good. Thank you, Carla. Talk about, I feel like I'm just throwing them at you like bullets left and right here, but I want to get everything covered, and I think we did. I think we covered the questions that were in there. Thank you so much to both Carla and Lisa for joining us this morning.
Right, and if you have any other further questions, don't hesitate to reach out. So we will gladly address them. So
great. I think Cindy, we've got your website has been put up a couple times in our chat box, so hopefully people will do that. Great. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so next we have CJ Moit with Disability Rights South Dakota. I will turn it over to you, CJ.
Good morning. Thank you all for allowing me to be able to come and speak with you. My name is CJ Moit. I'm with Disability Rights South Dakota. I am a non-attorney client advocate. I also oversee the PAVA, which is Protection and Advocacy for Voting Access Program. I work out of the peer office. We do also have offices in Rapid City and Sioux Falls. Disability Rights South Dakota is the gubernatorial appointed protection advocacy agency for South Dakota. We are a nonprofit legal service agency dedicated to protecting and advocating for rights and inclusion of South Dakotans with disabilities. In 1972, Geraldo Rivera went into the Willowbrook State Institution in Staten Island, New York, filming and broadcasting the deplorable conditions found inside. Mr. Rivera's expose of what went on behind the closed doors led to the first Protection Advocacy Agency program being created. It was called the Protection Advocacy for Individuals with Developmental Disabilities Program. Over the years, as needs were identified, more programs were created to address the protection of individuals with varying disabilities, with the most recent program being created and funded in March of 2018. To view the investigative reports from Mr. Rivera, you can visit the link on the video, and I would strongly encourage you to go out and look at those because it was pretty bad conditions back in those days.
Hi, CJ.
Yes.
We cannot see your PowerPoint. In the left-hand corner, can you hit Start Video?
Yeah, just 1 second here. Oops. Okay.
There we go. Now we can see that. And then hit at the bottom, hit Share Screen.
Yep, I had that.
And then click your PowerPoint, the box with your PowerPoint in it.
Can you see that now?
No, you might have to go up to the top and hit Switch Presenter and
Oh no.
Share Screen. I can pull it up and you can talk. We can do it that way.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Share Screen. There we go. Can you guys see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can, Jenny.
Okay.
Okay. We could just go to the slide 3, which is the one I was just talking about on the why we are here.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Let me do this.
Oops. Okay, that's who we are, and then why we are here. That's the one I was just going over. But I strongly encourage you, if you're not familiar with the Geraldo Rivera broadcasts, if nothing else, just to see his cheesy mustache from the 70s. The people that we serve are individuals with a disability. I'm sorry, I got totally lost. Disability Rights South Dakota provides services for individuals with a disability that are South Dakotans who experience issues such as discrimination of rights, abuse, neglect, or exploitation The issue must be specifically related to their disability. Next slide, please. Okay. DRSD staff comprise of attorney and non-attorney client advocates. Some examples of services that DRSD provides include information and technical assistance. Technical assistance. I'm hearing a sound in the background. That's throwing me off. Assisting self-advocates, parents, and guardians in advocating for individuals' rights, including employment discrimination, housing, education, assistive technology. DRSD staff also monitor facilities to provide services for individuals with disabilities. And in those monitorings, we look for issues in safety, abuse, neglect, and we also conduct investigations into suspected abuse and neglect or exploitation. We encourage anyone who has disability-related questions to call and speak with our intake specialists. It doesn't only have to be individuals with disabilities that reach out. We do get calls from agencies that are working with individuals and with questions regarding what services or what their rights are in particular issues. We also offer partners of policymaking training for self-advocates, parents, and guardians. There's a 6-month program which brings in presenters on 6 specific topics with the goal of empowering individuals. We would ask that as teachers and other individuals that are attending that you share this information on partners of policymaking. And we also conduct a public survey and share that with parents and guardians. And the applications have been posted for download with the conference here, or you can go to our DSD website and access those, or the public survey at drsdlaw.org. Next slide, please. One of the programs we have also that's specific to transition in students is the iTransitions app. It's through our website, and it lets the individual, the student, go in and fill out questions in regards to what they're wanting to do when they do graduate. And then they can print that out and take that with them, and then they can utilize that when they are at their ISP meeting planning for transition services and what they're going to do after school is done. Next slide, please. Your vote, your voice. That is a phrase that is heard often during elections. And it is true for all individuals. There are so many things to plan when deciding what a student is going to do after graduation. Are they going to go on to post-secondary, going right into the workforce, or continue working in a job they may already have? Often with the focus being on where they're going to be, what they're going to be doing, where and how, and with what supports. Other important coming of age activities can be overlooked, such as getting a driver's license, a state ID, or registering to vote. Next slide, please. When creating a transition plan, including discussion on participating in elections helps to ensure the student is aware of their right to register and participate in the electoral process. This is yet another step in them understanding their ideas, thoughts, and needs are important, and by registering, learning about the candidates and issues, and voting, their voice will be heard. Adding the simple steps of obtaining an ID or a driver's license and filling out a one-page voter registration form opens up the doors for students to find their voice and know their ideals are valued through casting their vote. It also opens the door to discussing further participation by potentially being an election worker. Next slide, please. Laws are in place to protect individuals' disabilities' right to vote. In South Dakota, a person is eligible to vote regardless of their disability. Having a guardian in South Dakota does not take away their right to vote. Only a judge can find an individual mentally incompetent to vote. South Dakota laws also allow for non-governmental agencies to assist an individual in obtaining, filling out, and submitting a voter registration form. There are also laws that provide regulations regarding polling site access, accessible ballot marking devices, and accommodations allowing all individuals to register to exercise their right to vote privately and independently. Next slide, please. Taking a few minutes of time during a transition meeting to discuss and plan the students' election participation will make a lifetime of their ability to have their voice heard and taking another step towards self-advocacy. We really encourage teachers, when you're doing the transition planning, to talk with your students regarding registering to vote and electoral process, and as I stated, even being election workers because they need them.
CJ,
Yes.
Dave Halverson here, and
Yes.
we really appreciate the information that you're providing on disability rights and also the importance of voting, especially with the big election coming up here in November. See the contact information for your agency. Any last words that you have for us?
No, that's everything. Thank you. I appreciate you inviting us, and we just ask you to go out to our disability rights website and look at all the services that we offer, because there are 9 programs that we do services under, and just really encourage you to talk with your students, all students, about registering and then learning about the candidates and issues and then participating and voting. Thank you.
AJ, there
Yes.
is a question out there to you, and
Okay.
Rebecca asks, I have a class of 18 to 21-year-olds. Would someone be willing to come in and speak about voting and elections?
I would love to come out and speak about voting and elections. I'll put in my email address into the chat box, then you can email me and we can work that out. I even have a Jeopardy game that I do with them.
Cool, thanks.
What a great
Thank you.
idea. Cool. Okay, thank you. Thank you, CJ. All right, so our next guest is Jamie Morris with the Division of Developmental Disabilities. Now, you know, some of these folks did have sessions yesterday, but we asked them to, we still invited them to come on, and if there was any information that they didn't have a chance to share yesterday or anything they want to reiterate to you guys, to do that. So Jamie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Bev, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I did have a session and I did provide some information, and I'm just going to share the one slide from that the other day, which talks about what we provide. Can you guys see that?
Yes, we can, Jamie.
Okay, thank you. So as I spoke about, and I just wanted everyone to know that we have the 2 waivers that we offer through the Division of Developmental Disabilities, the Family Support Waiver, which is works to keep individuals home with their family and in the community. We also have the Choices Waiver, which is a residential waiver, which is community living still, but it's within a provider. We have also couple other programs that we fund that are state funded, so they're not through our waiver. That's the Community Training Services, which offers a minimal support for individuals if they want employment help. I think that one pretty much covered. There's a few other things, but it's minimal support on that. And then there's this Strengthening Family Support Program, which also is state funded, and it does provide a few different things that, like I said, are less restrictive, and you don't have to qualify for the waiver either. And some of the things that we offer through that are incontinence supplies, medications, nutritional supplements, rec opportunities, adaptive equipment, housing modifications, travel expenses, or vehicle modifications. And then we also have the respite care program, which is offered just to provide families some support or needed rest. And also, that is not a waiver program, so the eligibility requirements are a little bit different than what you would find in both the Family Support and Choices. Family support, if you were to choose to look into that, you would receive a family support coordinator to help you navigate the system, and they help with your budget, and it's a self-directed waiver, so it helps us, or it helps the family and the individual decide what is best for them. With the choices waiver, you would have a case manager, and we have 4 providers that offer that throughout the state, and that person is the advocate for the family and the individual to also help get the supports and services that they desire. But it looks, like I said, it looks different than family support. And they're involved, both of those coordinators and case manager are involved throughout the time the person is in our services. So I guess I just wanted to see if there was any questions that anyone had that I could answer at this time.
Jamie, could you mention the eligibility requirements needed
Sure.
to access DD services?
If you're talking, are you talking family support and choices?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do
That's-
have a slide on that, and let me see if I can get us there. So the eligibility requirements, of course, are to they need to have a diagnosed intellectual or developmental disability, and that needs to be determined by a psychologist or a medical provider. Some of those are listed under number 1, but that is not all encompassing. So cerebral palsy, epilepsy, head injury, traumatic brain injury, autism, those type of conditions that have to be before the age of 22. And so, for example, they have to manifest, they have to show signs of that before the age of 22. So I use the example, if, for example, I use this, if there was a traumatic brain injury that happened at the age of 29 that significantly caused some cognitive disabilities, that would not qualify for our waivers. Also, the disability must be considered, that would be indefinitely. They're not gonna, they'll have that with them for the rest of their life. And we work with individuals from birth to death. So they just have to have seen the disability has to manifest before the age of 22. What we look for to determine eligibility is a psychological evaluation that provides an IQ score. We also look for adaptive scores with using the like the ABAS or the Vineland, and then an ICAP, which also needs to be conducted with the individual. Any other questions?
I am not seeing any further questions. Oh, what is an ICAP? In the chat box.
Well, that's a good question. Well, it is an assessment that is completed to look at the different things that an individual can do. And it's usually completed by, like, if we have in choices, we would have the case manager do it. In family support, the coordinator conducts it. So it talks about the disability, it talks about how it affects them in daily living activities. It also talks about behavior and how the behavior, if there's a behavior issue, how that affects the individual. So it just kind of, it's similar, it's very similar to the adaptive test, but the ICAP is used for different reasons within our division.
I believe it stands for inventory for client and agency planning or something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of adaptive behavior type questions.
Yeah, for example, can the person cut using scissors? If they can cut is in a straight line, those kinds of questions.
Yep. Now another one has come in. What's the time frame from completing the application to obtaining a case manager for a student?
So if the person is choosing to, if the family or the individual is choosing a choices, choosing that waiver, they would contact the case management organization directly. And the provider then would set them up with a case manager. Usually that doesn't take a whole lot of time because they're going to help you complete the application and all of the documents that need to be done in order to determine eligibility. For family support, again, that is the service coordinator helps with that. So the family contacts the provider directly. And then if that one we have a little bit, maybe not as much, it might be a little bit longer because some of those programs are full and we have to determine and find a program that has an open space.
Okay. All right, I don't think I see any other questions in the chat box. Thank you, Jamie, for taking time to come and see us again today for a few minutes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay, next we have invited Tara Boehm, who is a benefit specialist, to join us for a few minutes. And if there's anything else you wanted to share with us, Tara, and I know you did this session actually with Jamie yesterday.
Yes. Can you guys see my PowerPoint? It's just one slide? No.
Yes. Yep. It's coming up.
Okay. I guess I'll steal that idea from Jamie. But that's my contact information. I'm Tara Boehm with South Dakota Benefits Specialists Network. I did share a session on Monday with Jamie regarding some information on transition-aged youth and some Social Security benefits or work incentives that could apply to them. I work with the South Dakota Benefits Specialists Network as a benefits specialist with individuals ages 14 through full retirement age who get a benefit from Social Security based on disability. And we can work with individuals to get the news out and help them navigate through Social Security world and try to get everyone to understand that you can work and still get Social Security benefits. And sometimes Social Security benefits are just a stepping stone to going full time, and people phase off of those benefits, which is our goal. And sometimes they just go to work, and that's okay too, because that's good for a lot of reasons. But I think that Jenny and Natra put some publications out on the website that I shared from when I did my presentation. So that's probably things that I would bring if I had a booth, those types of things. So if you want to look at that, there's some things on the student earned income exclusion, section 301, the age 18 redetermination, and things of that nature, as well as our brochure. Some fact sheets, some tip things from our technical assistance agency. So that's really all I have. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask. You can email me, you can call me. I might not be able to respond right away, but I will get back to you. Thanks for having me. And if there are any questions, I am ready to answer.
Okay, I'm watching the chat box here. I haven't seen any yet. And it's really hard for you to get into any of these things specifically because all of this information takes time to explain, correct? So
yeah, and it intertwines, so you can't, yeah, it intertwines. You can't just explain one piece without having to pull in the next thread.
Right.
Because it all gets.
It really is a good idea to contact a benefit specialist. And just, again, I think it was probably mentioned yesterday, Tara is not the only benefit specialist in the state. There are several of them located in different areas or regions around the state. In fact, there was a question that says, do you serve the northeast corner of the state? Well, yes, that's served. It's not Tara, maybe. It might be another person.
Is it the north or the south, did you say?
Northeast corner of the state.
It's probably Brad Konechny.
Yes.
He serves that area. So this is our map. So Brad's area should be orange, I don't know why the colors changed, so I apologize for that. But the purple is Michelle Hosman and Barry Gravatt out in the western part of the state. I cover the white areas, the white counties. And then the orange is Brad Konechny. The what looks like a little bit of space is Rhonda Erickson, but she's actually serves the most people in those two counties. And then Bonnie Gusso is the light green.
Yes.
So, and if you don't remember those names or can't remember how you got them or who to contact, you can call me. You can call your voc rehab counselor, the transition liaison specialists know. A lot of times I get referrals from disability rights. I mean, we all kind of work together and we know what roles they are. So, and then if I get a call in the central part of the state and they would be better served face-to-face services in, Sioux Falls, then they would go to Rhonda. So, or for instance, or Michelle or Brad or Barry or Bonnie, whoever is covering that area generally.
So yeah, good point. There's not phone numbers listed here, but you can contact Tara. Any of the VR offices work directly with the benefits specialist, or us transition liaisons can certainly get you that person's name and contact information as well, no matter where you are in the state. So, okay, thank you very much, Tara, for joining us again today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, next we have Caitlin and Connie with the Department of Labor and Regulations. We're going to have these ladies talk, and when they are done, we'll take another short break, and then we'll be wrapping it up. So I'm going to turn it over to you ladies, Caitlin and Connie.
Hi, this is Connie, and I'm joined by Caitlin today. We work for the South Dakota Department of Labor and Regulation at the Peer Job Service Office. There are job service offices across the state, so we're just going to try to talk in some general terms about services that are offered statewide. Caitlin's my techie person because I'm not, so she's pulling up about our Career Launch South Dakota. And you can access this at careerlaunchsd.com. And the department has created this website as an easy way for people to access our services. And it's definitely generated towards youth. So it's just a simple way to get some information, get your information in here, and then somebody in the local area will contact you. Let's go ahead. And when we talk about Career Launch, what we're trying to do is help people get on whatever road they're on and help them proceed down it. As you can see at the top, it might be career exploration, soft skills, or you might already be to the job search and applications, or maybe you're already on the road to employment or school. We have different levels, and hopefully we can meet you wherever you're at on your path. If we start at the beginning with somebody who's not sure what they want to do, we go with a career exploration, looking for jobs that match interests. What do you feel you're good at? We can get into things like how much money do you want to earn? What kind of lifestyle do you want? All of those play into it, even though people tell you, oh, don't worry about some of that. To us, it is important. The types of benefits you might need down the road. And then we're here to be assistance, because sometimes you just don't know, where am I at? How do I start? Am I going to need training? What kind of training? Is it going to be at a work site? Is it going to be through post-secondary? If I'm looking at college, how much is this going to cost? And then the last line there is really important. Are there jobs available? We don't want you to train into something and then get through training and find out there's no jobs in that, because that's really sad if somebody would devote that kind of time and money to a career path and then find out they can't do it, especially if it's an area you want to be in South Dakota, or you want to be in a specific town or part of any state. We can help do that research so that you don't waste time and money, because both are good commodities. We don't want to waste them. Go ahead, Caitlin. Caitlin is in her third whole week with the Department of Labor, so I am going to turn it over and let her talk for a minute.
And then, so another one of the programs that we offer is the one that I teach. I go into schools and teach a lot of this. It's called Bring Your A Game to Work. And so this goes over those soft skills that everyone needs to have in a place of employment. You know, your attendance, your appearance, your attitude, ambition, acceptance, accountability, and appreciation. And so I teach a class. It ends up being in total about an 8-hour class about how you can improve on all these, what all of these mean, and why they're important in the workplace. And so, like I said, I go into schools and I reach out to a lot of schools in the area, or they reach out to me and we set something up. We cover a wide area of schools. So I go as far up as Eagle Butte, White River, and over towards the Phillip area and down to Cologne and Winter, that area down there as well. But there should be a employment specialist at each job service office that will be doing something like this for your area. So you can reach out to your local job service office and see what they have available if it's something interested in bringing to your school and to your students.
And it is a fun, interactive training if people haven't been exposed to it. Some of the career learning centers were teaching it. COVID has thrown a kink into everything, so if it's something you're interested in, feel free to contact your local job service to get more information, who's teaching it and in what manner. There's been some talk of doing some online. So lots of changes happening with COVID.
Yes, definitely.
Is this ladies, is this a free service if a school were to contact you and say we'd be interested in having you come and do this A game with our students?
Yes, this is a free service that we offer, and so doesn't cost anything. I come into the schools and I teach the class, and we do all sorts of activities too. And I've done it, or I will be doing it, and we can do it in middle school up to high school or at some voc rehab places as well.
Okay, great for schools to know. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And then we offer help with resume and cover letters, and a lot of people don't know how to create a resume or don't know how to create a good resume. And so we focus on helping you do that. And one of our programs that helps with that is our JSAP program, and that's a job search assistance program. And that is another program that I'll be teaching about writing resumes, good ways for job searching, interview skills, and things like that, just to help prepare you for that workforce. And those ones I can be taught in the school and as a free service as well. It's something we haven't done too much with in the past, and so we're trying to do a little more with it, and I'd be more than happy to bring it into the schools along with, the Bring Your A Game, and give kids the knowledge they need to make themselves stand out in a sea of resumes and cover letters, and so they don't get lost there. And I lost my train of thought there.
Well, I will cut in and again, throw it at COVID out there. We're trying to develop an online class right now that's aimed more at adults, but I think our next step will probably be something also youth oriented, or, we have Zoom, we have Teams meetings, we can do a lot of things remote. Maybe not me, but Caitlin can. She's my tech whiz. But if we can't do things in person, because I see like Cheyenne Eagle Butte was in the news, they're going to start online classes this fall. You know, if there's things we can do, we don't want anybody to hesitate to ask, because everything we do are free services.
Okay, ladies, there's a couple questions in the chat box here. One of them is, are you willing to come in and do mock interviews? And again, I guess this is, you know, in an ideal situation, hopefully post-COVID or when things get back to normal, somewhat normal. Is that something?
Yep, with that's something we'd like to tie into the JSAP program, is coming in and doing mock interviews, and ideally being able to record these mock interviews for the students so that they can turn around and look and see for themselves what they might not have noticed during the interview. I've found that it's a great teaching resource to do it that way. But yes, given COVID, we would like to find a way to do it online as well. Maybe through a recorded like Zoom meeting or Teams meeting, doing a mock interview that way, because there have been people doing interviews through Teams and Zoom. So to help with COVID, we'd like to offer it both ways.
And then there's a couple questions on the A game. Are you able to do the A game curriculum with students who are like 18 to 21 years old, but they're still being served within the school program? Or is that not something that can be done because they're kind of past high school age technically, but they're still being served by the school district?
Yes, definitely. I can still do it for people in that age range as well. I have different presentation, curriculum and presentation format that we do to shape it to the groups and the ages that we do, but definitely would be able to do it for that age range as well.
Okay. And then there is a question about, can the A game be done one-on-one?
It can be, but it's not the best setting because it's interactive and you get a lot more out of the whole training if it's a group situation.
Right. I agree. From what I have seen of it, we have always had someone come in and do one section of the A game at our Let's Talk About Work event, and it is very interactive, and it's meant. It seems to me like that it's meant for group activities.
Yeah, one-on-one you would lose. You'd lose that other people's viewpoints, and some of the activities just wouldn't be much fun.
Yeah, they're not all exactly easy to do by yourself. But we do have different resources too if they need something similar to that. Bring your A game one-on-one. Definitely go into your local job service office and they can tell you and help you with any one-on-one information or skill help that you may need. It doesn't all have to be group. We're all here to help.
Right. Sorry to interrupt. Did you have more of your more presentation? And now because I've interrupted, we're running short on time. But
okay, well, I will try not to talk. Anybody that knows me knows I can talk a long time. We'll try to stay on task. So, we were going to bring it back here and just talk real brief about job services across the state and their services with job search, applications, etc. Keep in mind, I think the last figure I heard is that the job services across the state have like 19,000 job openings. So the sdjobs.org, thank you, Caitlin. I can't keep all my websites straight, has a huge amount of resources out there. But every office is willing to meet with people one-on-one. Everybody right now is doing it a little bit different, so please call ahead to your local office and they will let you know if they're doing certain days for appointments or how they're doing it. Job search, filling out applications, helping with online applications, talking about through Career Launch, we can enroll into the WIOA employment training program and help people with internships, work experiences, on-the-job training. There's the potential of funding for post-secondary schooling for books and tuition. We have a financial literacy class that Caitlin's also going to be teaching here. Every office has one available. What else did we? And I guess that was just kind of us in a very little nutshell. Again, on that careerlaunchsd.com, if you go in there, you can get more information. You can see a map and where all the job services across the state are located so that you can contact your local office. There's never a wrong place. Us, Folk Rehab, we work very closely together. Whomever you contact, hopefully then we all work as a team.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Very impressed. You threw a lot of information and you got to mention all of your, or certainly a lot of your programs, certainly the ones that would affect young adults in a very short amount of time. So very good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And I don't see any further questions in the chat box. So you did it. Yay.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us.